Hi, welcome back to another video. Today is sock week. If you don't know what sock week is, Knitty Natty here on YouTube runs what they call a sock week, where it's a 1 week event where you knit or crochet one adult sock and you will be like entered in for prizes and stuff. If you haven't heard of Knitty Natty, I highly recommend her channel. I'll link it down below in the description. She does a lot of knitting podcasts where she'll round up what else she's done in a week, and I absolutely love those videos, and I just highly recommend her channel. And I wanted to participate in sock week. This year I've officially learned how to knit a sock. I was so scared to because it seemed really intimidating. However, now I feel pretty good about it. So I'm gonna participate. It started technically at like midnight or like the very first minute of today, which is Sunday, July 12th. However, I was not going to be up at that point, so I'm doing it whenever I have time today. It is currently 12:30 p.m. instead of 12 a.m. and I'm about to cast on my first sock. I have my needles right here. I've had to take off the sock I was working on. I had like some leftover of this yarn, so I was just gonna knit like a little tube sock. But I have my needles ready. I'm using 2.75 millimeter knitting needles, and I think this is a 40-inch cord. I just like the extra room whenever I'm doing magic loop. I like 2.75 because I'm a very tight knitter, and so I find like anything less is like too tight. I like the look of my stitches whenever I'm using these. I have an example here. They're not too wide. It's like a very nice fabric of stitches with my 2.75, so that's what works for me. I do have the very small circumference knitting needles that I will change. However, it's really hard to do the cast on with those. I knit my socks toe up, and so just doing the Judy's Magic cast on using the very small circumference just does not work very well. So I'll start off with the magic loop method. Once I get done with the toe, I'll switch over to my smaller circulars and I'll knit the rest of the sock with those. I have some options for my first sock. I got a bunch of the Premier Fruit and Farm Stand socks. I have basically one of every single one because I want fruit and vegetable themed socks for myself. So I have a bunch of these, and so I'm deciding about whether or not I want to do watermelon, banana, or pumpkin first. I don't know, I love all of these. If I can, I'd like to knit more than the one sock this week. However, we have to start with one. And I think I might start off with the watermelon. Now this is a smaller skein than I've seen before, but it's still 50 grams. I think it's just pretty dense, and like all the other socks, I've been able to get 2 socks for me out of a 50 gram ball. So I'm hoping it's similar. It seems similar weights, it's just for some reason the skein is a lot smaller. I don't know if it's more tightly wound than what I'm used to. This is also acrylic, so I'm not sure. I am also going to be using the Premier Fruit Socks pattern. It's a pretty basic pattern. Here's a little picture of what it will look like. It's not a heel flap and gusset entirely. You basically do short rows until a point, and then you will continue along. But it's a pretty interesting construction. It's got this kind of ridge at the back of your heel, but I figured it would be good for this yarn since it is meant for this yarn. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I know I like 60 stitches for my foot. That's just what feels comfortable for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and cast on 60 stitches, or work my toe, starting I think with 12 stitches, Judy Magic cast on, blah blah blah. And then I'm gonna take you with me throughout the week, see how many socks I'm able to make, or if I only end up making the one sock, which might happen. I'm unsure of my plans this week, so I'm gonna try to knit as much as I can, but unsure if that will be successful. Let me know how much or how many socks you think I'm going to be making. If you think I'm going to be able to only do half of this one, finish this one, maybe do all 3, let me know in the comments below. I'm hoping I can at least finish one. If I could do the pair, that would be great. Without further ado, let's get started. We're off to a really good start so far. I just pulled out my center pull, and I already have a lovely factory knot first thing. This is all the yarn so far. And I already have a big factory knot, which is not good because this yarn is supposed to be like self-striping and like make a design. And these are very obviously two very different spots within that color pool. If my camera will focus, there it goes. Two very different colors within that spot. So not super happy about that, but it is what it is. It's okay. I'll survive. I do have to also look up how to do Judy's magic cast on because I can never remember. I feel like I'm going to mess it up every single time I try, so I always have to look up a tutorial if my yarn will like to not tangle on itself. This is a great start. It's a great start. Oh my gosh, this is really bad. I'm gonna be back.
It's for the glory and style of the was added to our beautiful plaque above the mantelpiece. We are now halfway done with the community stock for that matter. I got quite
Okay, today's day 2. Here's our progress from day 1. Very good. I got the toe done and I'm starting to work on the foot itself. I have also switched over to my mini circulars so that it's much easier for me to knit in the round, just keep going. I know a lot of people don't like the mini circulars, that it's like too small of a circumference. I like keep my pinkies out and then I can knit, 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 knit. That's just what's comfortable for me. And I like the fact that I'm not having to constantly be like readjusting my needles. It's just what I like, it's what I prefer. So, sorry. Today, I don't have anything until like 5 o'clock. It might be more like 6 though. So for now, I do have to edit this week's video and then I can just knit for the rest of the day. And I'm hoping to get the foot done so that I can start the heel tomorrow. That's my goal. Fingers crossed. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. The foot doesn't take too long. It's not that tall, and also with the circulars, it's like speed round. So it really doesn't take all that long. Also, you can definitely tell where the like factory knots were, because it's supposed to be, this is a repeat here. So it switches back to the white here. So here was one where it went from the red to the white, halfway through the red, and then this was one here where it went from the no, it was here. It was this very first one. You can kind of see that loose stitch there in the green. That was one factory knot because it is dark green, white, red. So this is correct. I haven't run into any others since then, and it has been a full repeat. So fingers crossed that we're done with factory knots. Not super thrilled about that, but at least it's the toe. So, I mean, it's gonna be like shoved into a shoe. So it shouldn't be like too noticeable. Here's my watermelon sock so far. Very happy. I think that's all I have to update you on for day 2. I'll try to get some clips of me working on this throughout the day. And then I'll probably check in with you again tomorrow morning.
exhausted and justly proud. To you I grant that which in life I have given to no other, my esteem, in witness whereof I have
enjoyed the process, trying to remind myself that I do really enjoy knitting, and since everything's on my nails for longer,
Good afternoon. It is day 3 of sock week. I did not update you yesterday. However, very late last night, I finished sock number 1. I stayed up far too late than I should have to finish the sock. I think I was up till like 11:30 or midnight so that I could cast off this sock and start a fresh one today. Here's how we're looking. You can definitely tell where those factory knots were in the toe, both right here and also right here. But then the rest of it worked up great. It did miss a white and instead changed it with black. I'm not horribly mad at it. And they are a little bit shorter than what I think I was thinking. And I do have like a little bit of yarn left if I, say, wanted to add some length to it. I would just obviously want to make sure that the color repeat is good. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a nice shorty sock. It's, I would say, about the height that some of my socks are. Not the socks I'm currently wearing because these are my field socks. So they're a little bit more rugged, but a lot of them were like fun design socks, I'd say are actually about this long, although sometimes I think they could be a little bit taller. But overall, not mad, and I'm really happy with the colors. Also, I guess this is a Turkish heel where there is a heel flap but no gusset, so you still have to pick up stitches right along here, but it turns out, I think, really nice. It is very square, but whenever your foot is actually in there, it does fill out quite a bit. I'm sorry for the wet hair. It is currently like 98 degrees or something outside, and we could not work anymore in that heat. So we came in and I immediately went in the shower because obviously whenever it's 98 degrees out with no wind and you are outside all day, you get very sweaty. So I immediately hopped in the shower. I think there's a few more holes than I would like. How do I show you my foot? I don't know if you can see that super well. It does kind of smooth out. There is maybe a small pocket, but it's really like negligible. And yeah, it's just a nice little shorty sock. Again, maybe I think I might have wanted it to go like up to here instead, but like that's pretty negligible. And yeah, the stitch count is perfect on my feet, and I actually really like these socks. The multiple socks that I've made, they've all been out of like superwash merino, but a sock blend, and these are a sock blend but with acrylic and nylon instead of superwash merino, and I don't know, they're just so soft and I think I'm really gonna like these. I also know now that I can do a few more rows for my next ones, so I'm okay with these being on the shorter side, and my next ones can be a little bit longer. Obviously I want to match this one with its pair. Yeah, and then in the car today, because I am out in the field if you couldn't tell, hence hotel room, we were in the car for about 2 hours, and I have officially finished my toe and started my leg. And obviously we have about half a skein left. I was weighing my skein for this one to make sure that I wasn't going to overdo it, and I do have some extra, hence why I said I might be able to go back to the other one, but that also means I have plenty and I'm not like super worried that I'm gonna run out in my second sock, which was a concern a little bit because I only did buy one skein of it. However, I have smaller feet and I wanted not like shorties, but not super tall socks. And so I figured I could get away with one, but I was a little bit worried whenever I saw how small the skeins were. And I actually compared it to the sock yarn that I've used before. They're both 50 grams, but this Premier Fruits actually has like 10 or 15 more yards than the ones that I've used before, and they were like double its size. So that was really interesting. And then I was worried that because of that, like the stitch count is like more for the gauge. It's like 4 stitches more like width-wise or something. So then I was really worried that my 60 stitch count was going to also be incorrect, but it fits just the same, if not better, than my other one. So I'm not gonna complain. I apparently lucked right into it, so I'm really not mad at that. I did also think I brought my mini circulars with me. I swear I remember putting them in my pocket, but I cannot find them with me. So I hope that they didn't drop out somewhere because I love those needles. And like the magic loop is fine, I can do it, it's not a problem. It's just with the circulars, I find it goes so much better because I can just knit in the round and like not even have to think about anything. Whereas this, it's a little bit more time consuming just switching over my needle. It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day, although I am trying to knit as many socks as possible this week, and so the faster the better. But it's also only like 3 days that I really have to deal with it, unless I've completely lost my needles, which would really suck. I might place an order and have them delivered so that whenever I get home I have my needles back, because I love those needles. One sock down. I'm hoping tonight to at least, I don't know, get most of the way through the foot. I don't know if I can quite finish the foot, but yeah, most of the way through the foot. If we can get to the heel turn, best case scenario.
My daughter got to put her hands on a loom, which she really had a lot of fun with, so I would love to find 5 girl-friendly looms that we do.
Hello, it is day 4 of sock week. This week is flying by. I feel like it's just started, and we're already like basically halfway through, which is crazy. Here's our progress so far. I am not quite halfway up the foot. I thought I was gonna be able to knit a lot more yesterday, but without my mini circulars, I'm definitely not nearly as productive, which I feel like is like a story of my life. I feel like I'm never as productive as I want to be. It's just there's never enough hours in the day to be able to do the things that I want to do and the things that I need to do. So that's okay. We already have one done sock, so that already feels really good. I would have loved to finish this sock, however, I'm just not sure. The days are going to be very busy from here on out. Tomorrow is our last day of field work for the week, so I'm going to be probably out for a good amount of it. I'll have the 2-hour drive home, so hopefully I can like maybe get to the heel, or at least begin it. Plus, what else do we have? Oh my gosh. Friday, I have a bunch of stuff to do, like clean up the place, get a video up for you guys, or at least like schedule it, because I don't know if I'll have time later, or at least film it, because I don't know if I'll have time later next week. And then we're going camping over the weekend, like leaving Friday afternoon until like Sunday, so like I don't know how much more time I'm gonna have to knit any of these socks. But again, one sock is like the name of the challenge, right? Knit a sock in a week, and that was done. It was done in 2 days, actually, which is pretty impressive. So ultimately, does it matter? No, it's just I would like to knit both socks this week, and then next week knit another pair of socks. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping to get a good amount of work tonight done. It is currently only 7 o'clock, and so I'm hoping that I can get a good amount of work on this done.
Size, which conveniently we just got some 9mm needles in the PO box.
Hello, it's currently Friday, which means we are on day Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Day 6 of sock week, which is crazy. This week has honestly flown by. I don't think I talked to you at all yesterday. I was supposed to be in the field. We drove back like first thing in the morning because if you don't know, the like Canada wildfires are not good. I mean, like ash is literally like floating out of the ground, floating in the air, and being outside for hours of the time. Plus also my like other primary mapper is sick. So we decided to come back a day early, and so now here I am, I'm home. So I was knitting both in the car. I knit the entire foot up into the heel flap. We got back at maybe just before noon, maybe more like 11 or so. And so then after that, I knit up the heel flap and did the heel turn. And I've started to work on the foot. I'm not super far, although this also isn't going to be, you know, this isn't going to be a very tall sock. I like my socks a little on the shorter side. So, you know, we're doing pretty good. These socks are uneven. This one didn't have any factory knots. I don't know if you can notice until right here. It went back to seeds rather than being the red continuously until it got back to the green. So that has knocked off all of my color pool, so they are going to look different, which I'm not thrilled about, but it is what it is. I was hoping for them to match at least on the leg portion. I'm not super concerned about the foot, as most of the time it'll be in some kind of shoe. But what can you do? It's fine. I could have like cut it out and then like cut until like the color change or like the color pool was back in order. But I didn't want to. I was lazy. It was the like night before we left. I was in the hotel. I was already in bed, and I just wanted to knit and not do anything complicated. So I just went for it. And ultimately, I don't care that much because I have a feeling I'm going to finish them today. It is tomorrow, like Friday morning, so I have a good amount of today plus tomorrow Plus, technically it's an 8-day challenge, so we technically have like 3 days. I'm going to start my bananas next, or I might start my pumpkins next. I might actually start the pumpkin next, which is in the living room, but I'm gonna make another one, obviously. Also, the 50-gram skein, totally fine. I'll have plenty for the leg and just a teensy bit left over. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the leftovers yet. I might do like a fruit basket sock or something where I just take all of the scraps and just make a very scrappy, wild looking pair of socks. Maybe that would be fun and cool. I'm not sure yet. That's where I'm at so far today. It is day 6, right? Yeah, day 6. We're gonna finish up this sock. It'll be super easy. It's just knitting in the round, do some ribbing, and then we'll start working on the next one. I'm hoping to be done before dinner. I don't think I can knit this whole leg in like 2 hours before lunch.
3 trucks. They were all led to the junkyard, so now we're bringing them to the junkyard, and in the other one, when Stephen does.
Good morning. It is day 7. Today is Saturday, and we are all done with both of our socks. Da-da-da! 1 pair in like a week-ish. I think that's pretty good. This was our first sock. You've seen it. Wow, amazing, wonderful. We had the factory knot issues. Our second skein had 1 factory knot. Oh no, it might have had 2. Did it have 2? No, I think it was just 1. Yeah, it was 1 kind of in here. Overall, not bad. I am happy with them. They are not the same. Whenever I was doing my foot, I actually added either 1 or 2 more rows to my foot, and I actually like that a lot better. I think it gives me just a little bit more room in my foot, and I think that's a lot nicer. I have been wearing these actually so far today, and they are very comfortable. It's just this one has a little bit more room in the foot, and then I also added 1 extra row on the top. I was trying to get it so that they would both end on like a red. However, this one does have some white. I just wasn't able to get it to where it would all be red, but that's okay. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It like kind of made them even out just a little bit, even though this had a bunch of factory knots and this had 1, and like I didn't start on the same color because of it. They ended up being more or less similar. This has 1 or 2 extra rows in the foot and an extra row on the leg, which I'm actually very happy that I did, because now I know exactly how many rows I want in my foot and on my leg, and I have this much left over. It's a pretty dense little leftover, and I believe it has like 1 or 2 leftover, or like 1 or 2 rows, and so I'm thinking I might be able to actually add 5 more rows to my leg. That way it's a little bit taller. They are definitely shorties. That's fine. I like my socks a little bit shorter, but they are just a smidge short. I think like even that 5 rows I think would make them like perfect for me. I've already been wearing these today. I'm going to continue to wear them. They're fun, they're comfortable, and they're also should be machine washable according to the label. Machine wash, tumble dry. Fantastic. Thank you, acrylic nylon blend, right? BPT. What's BPT? PBT. I don't know what that means. Anyway, but they're comfortable and they'll be sturdy. I also meant to cast on my pumpkin socks. However, I grabbed the banana yarn, which I'm also fine. Like this was, like I grabbed 3 yarns to start, and this was like one of the 3. So does it ultimately matter? No, I just also would have liked to do a vegetable and not only fruits, so that's fine. Banana sock it is. I love bananas, so, and here's where we are. As you can see, we've made it very far. I'm on row 3, 2. I've done 2 increase rows and the cast on. A lot of progress so far. It did have like a big yarn bark, so I had to like roll it up along the label. We have today and tomorrow. Today's already like halfway through though. It's already like 1:30 and we're going to see a movie tonight. So I don't know how much I'll be able to get done today, but like we're in like the final stretch of week 1 for sock week. So we'll see how this goes. I'm unsure. I'm hoping it'll be okay. I mean, like, ultimately, like, we already finished a whole pair of socks in a week. Like, that's already pretty good. So, like, this is, I guess, a bonus. Although, if I could finish all 3 pairs in the 2 weeks, that would be pretty cool. If I had my circulars, my mini circulars that I lost, this would be so much better, but I've officially lost them. I can't find them. I do have some on order. Hopefully they will be here soon-ish. Anyway, that's my progress update. See you later. Good morning. It is the last day. It is officially Sunday. And I made it past the toe. We ended up going to see The Odyssey. I said we were going to a movie, and it took up like 3 hours plus dinner. So I did not get very much done on this. Unfortunate. I'm going to try to get a lot done today. However, I have to edit a video because I'm going in the field on Monday, and I have a lot of like other things that I have to do. So we'll see how far we get done. Let me know if you liked this like sock week challenge and whether or not I should do week 2. Week 2, there's no prizes or anything. It's just for fun to like finish up whatever you didn't do. Like if you only did 1 sock in one week, go ahead and finish up the pair. For me, I would be finishing my second pair. But let me know if that's something you're interested in, or if I should just do that in like my free time. I'm still gonna do it just because I want to, but let me know if you want to actually see me finish these socks. For now, today we are actually up early. It's 10:30. I am about to get my day like actually started. You know how you kind of mosey around in the morning. So we are going to start working on this. I'm not exactly sure how this colorway is gonna like work up. I've covered the little photo because yarn barf, but like it has yellow and then light yellow and then white with spots of brown, and you can kind of almost see it. There's like I think 1 repeat, a touch of like the darker yellow, and then it gets into the white, the spots, white, light, darker yellow. I don't know if you can see that super well, that this is lighter than this. It's almost like an ombre looking. And then it goes right back into the white. I think that's our repeat, so not as many colors as the watermelon. That's fine. I mean, as long as it looks banana-y, and then I guess it's doing its job. I'm hoping, goal today, probably not all the way through the foot. I just don't think that's gonna be doable for my schedule. I'm gonna hope for, my foot is 60 stitches. I'm gonna hope for, or rows, 60 rows. I'm gonna hope for 30 rows today, and I think we are at like 10, so maybe 40. We'll do 40. I hope for 40 rows. It is Monday. It is officially the end of sock week, week 1. I made a lot of progress yesterday. Here she is, my first sock of my second pair, and it is definitely banana, and I'm loving it so far. I love yellow. My shorts today, yellow, it's kind of my thing, so the fact that I'm going to have these bright yellow banana socks, I'm very excited. I am like 4 or 5 rows away from being done with the actual foot before I start the heel flap. So that feels pretty good. I mean, I was what, like here 2 days ago at the end of Saturday, and so I knit like most of this all yesterday. So that was really awesome, and I think a really good way to finish off sock week, saying that I have 2.5 socks done in a single week. I know I've definitely done more. However, I had a lot more time then. now I'm doing field work, I have in-laws visiting, and so my life is kind of full right now. And I know whenever I originally made my how many socks in a week can I knit video, I did have things going on, but they weren't as like they were time consuming, but some of them I could do while I was knitting, you know? Like I tried to knit in the movie with this, does not work. I somehow ended up skipping like 4 stitches. I don't know how, because I swear I knit all of them, and I remember feeling something funky, but I couldn't figure out what it was until the next day I went to knit over top of it and I was like, what the heck is going on? So I had to pick back the last like 2 row, I guess. Yeah, the last row and fix it. But yeah, overall, very happy, very excited, and I'm ready to get started right on this today. However, that is not going to be in today's video. Today is all about Sock Week Week 1. Let me know if you want Sock Week Week 2. I'm going to be filming it, whether or not you want to see it. Let me know in the comments below. I love Sock Week. I've been really enjoying knitting socks. And if you've also been participating, let me know if you used any of the sponsor, either sock yarn or any of the other accessories, or if it was just a pattern that you did for the garden party theme. Mine obviously was fruits that you can, I don't know if you can grow bananas in a garden. I was gonna do pumpkins, which would have been better, but fruity themed, I guess you could say. So I felt like that was garden. But yeah, let me know what all you did to adhere to the theme, if you participated in Sock Week. And yeah, let me know if you want to see Week 2. If you do, make sure you stick around. You can hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that video. Like the video if you liked it. I post a lot of crochet vlogs, crochet challenges. This is kind of both. It's somewhat a challenge, but also I don't have like a specific goal. It's just to knit socks this week. But yeah, if you like this and this vibe, why not stick around? And I'm gonna catch you all next week.